Hey everybody, Brian Hunt here with you again. In this video, I am talking about drones, and as you can see here, I clearly have a problem. I have too many drones, more drones than I can really use. In this video, I'm going to go into what drones I'm going to be keeping, what drones I'm going to be selling, and why I have so many different drones. So first off, why do I have so many drones here? And this looks a little bit crazy, and it does look like, I have a bit of a drone buying problem. I have more of a gear buying problem. I love buying gear. I love having gear, but as we've talked about in some of the other videos before, if the gear is not making you money, if gear is not helping you in your business, if you're doing a video production business, then you shouldn't have it and you shouldn't be investing in it. And sometimes we make mistakes and we invest in the wrong things, but we try to have educated decisions and we do that. And part of my reason for doing a lot of my videos on YouTube is to help with that and give a bit of my experience and my 2 cents on different thoughts that way. So the reasoning for all these different drones, they all are used in a little bit different way. Okay, so what I have here is my Inspire 2 and my Mavic 2 Pro. I did a video a few years back on comparing these two where, I'll be using both these things. I've used this a bunch. I'm probably going to be keeping this, even though I don't use it that often anymore. But there's some other reasons I'm going to go into later on while I might be keeping this for a bit. The Mavic 2 Pro. This was something that I had for a bunch of years. It's been very well used. Only reason I still have that is that I was keeping it as a backup drone. I like to have, when I go on jobs, if I'm shooting on the Inspire or I'm shooting on a Mini or I'm shooting on something else, I always like to have at least one other drone with me as a backup in case something happened, in case there's some issues. So that was what I was using this for. I really haven't flown this for, probably well over a year since I got the Air 2S down here. But the reasons I kept this is because just of a backup drone. But this was a great drone. Big step over the Mavic 1 Pro that I had as well, which I sold. Image quality of this was much better. But what I moved to from this, so I had originally just Inspire 2 and this drone. I had 2 drones. And then I moved to, and the reasons for that, I wanted something with a bit better technology and a bit other things, the 60p, the Air 2S drone. And this has actually been probably my #1 using drone for the last year and a bit. Since 2001, I pretty much use this for 90% of my jobs, maybe using the Inspire 2 for some of them, but the Air 2S, and I really love this drone. I am going to sell this drone. I'm not going to keep this one, but I'm going to go into why I think this drone is, if I could only have one drone on this table, why I would probably keep this one. I'm going to go into that a little bit later. The next one here is the Mavic 3 Pro Cine. So I got this just right when it came out, and I had a bunch of issues. So I got this in December 2001. Started using it on jobs in January, February of this year, 2002. The first model that I got, or the first one that I had a really strange issue where it would disconnect from the controller. I had the smart controller and it would disconnect from it, and it would only do it sometimes. So it was all this testing we had to do. Eventually it was sent back to DJI, and they did replace the drone or replace the controller. There was something kind of weird that happened with it. So I actually haven't used this as much as I was planning to as of yet. I will be using this a ton more this year, and I will do more of a review on this camera later after I've spent some more time with it and compare some stuff. Now I can say this and what I was using when I was having problems with the Mavic 3 Pro Cine, when I was having problems with it, I had my Air 2S with me as my backup. And I got to do some more testing. I mean, obviously the ProRes on this is a better image. There is some cooler things you can do with it. But I really love the Air 2S, and I love the way it flies. I love to be able to do crop into the 4K 60, and it just crops it in the sensor a bit. But these two, I'm going to be keeping the Mavic Pro Cine as kind of one of my main cameras, kind of main working cameras going forward. And I will be selling the Air 2S. Going into the next one here is the Mavic Mini 2. So the Mavic Mini 2, why I have this, why I bought this, was for some specific jobs. There were some jobs where we were maybe sometimes getting to locations where I didn't have time or didn't know that I might be in a controlled airspace or somewhere where we need different things. A drone that's small enough to fly in a controlled air zone because of its weight class. So for that, the big selling point of this drone is its size, the 249 grams. So the reason I bought this was just for that one job. So, and really all these drones here, besides for the Mavic 3, because I haven't had it long enough, and my FPV drones, because I don't know how to fly them well enough yet, all the rest of them have paid themselves off many times over, used on different jobs. So these are all been working drones, not just drones that because I wanted to have them and have toys and stuff. These are all been tools that I've been using. So this one, basically paid itself off in that one shoot because I was able to fly and do stuff for the cost of it. And I'm always shocked at one, how well this tiny little drone flies, and how decent the image is off of it. Like, I've shot some pretty cool stuff with this, some beautiful stuff with this. Yeah, you don't have the same control, you don't have the same bit depth as some of the other things, but I would say this definitely flies better than the original Mavic, the Mavic 1. I would also say that the image on it is equal or better than the original Mavic 1. So I've been very happy with the stuff I can get on this. This is something that will be a very backup drone for me as well. That will always be in my production van. That will always be on me on jobs when I'm doing drone work. Even if I'm shooting the Inspire or I'm shooting the Mavic 3, I will have this with me as a backup. It's so small, it's so easy to put into a case that way, just to have with you. And again, it can get some great images. A lot of the times, when we're using drone shots in our videos, we're maybe using that drone shot as an establishing shot. Maybe we're using it as something to help show the scenery, tell a story that way, but typically not holding on drone shots that long in a lot of things that we're doing, especially in a lot of documentary work. So a lot of times it comes down to convenience and what's gonna help you get things done quicker. Image quality is important, yes, but if an image quality in a camera that's bigger and something like the Inspire 2 takes too long to set up and you miss the shot that way, then it's not beneficial to have a better image quality. It's better just to get that shot. And that's more in the documentary style filming world. In film, in television, in productions like that where you do set up the time to get a shot, you do all those things, then it's very different. It's a different mentality, different way of shooting. But for the style of stuff I'm doing, I need to be able to move quickly, and sometimes that is a bigger factor, and a lot of times it's a bigger factor over image quality, what I can use to capture something right away, right then, and get up and going. And the Air 2S, the Air 2S is here, the Mini 2. I'm also very excited to see about the Mini 3. There have been rumors coming out about it, what bit rate's gonna be on, a bigger sensor on it, some better flight times on it. When that comes out, I will likely buy that and sell this, and to have that as my kind of travel drone, as my backup drone and drone I use in some situations where I am and maybe in a bit of a controlled airspace and things are a bit sensitive where we're flying. Big difference over flying something like this and people noticing and flying something like this. Huge difference. Okay, now getting over here, we have my FPV drones. I actually have one more that I didn't bring out here. This is a Cinewhoop from X Hover. They do these bind and flies or ready to fly items. So you don't need to build them. They're ready to fly. They have the goggles, everything ready. You can go and do it. They've already been tuned. I haven't had the time or the patience or really the ability to do all that other training and technical stuff that people really need to do that have been flying FPV drones for a long time. But there's more and more companies coming out with the ready to fly drones. Are ready to fly FPV drones, and this has been awesome. I'll be using this a bit more and just doing some more practicing with it and get my flying skills better. But I also have, which I love actually, is the DJI one. You can see here on both of these, I have a bunch of this is all from grass from getting on it. This is from me you know, I need to clean these off and stuff, but this is from learning to fly, not landing properly, starting off in longer grass, trimming through things. That's what all these kind of pieces of, looks like it's a lawnmower, the backside of a lawnmower here. What I love about this FPV drone, and I really haven't used that, I've used it for one paid job, but we didn't use any of the shots that I got on it. I need to get my confidence more up with this. What I do love about this one is that you can switch from it being fully manual to being having your GPS positioning, having that stuff, and putting the brakes on and stopping it mid-flight and just doing some safeties that way. Yep, there's some more controllability and some other cool things I can do with a Cine whoop or something like that. But this is completely manual. So if you, I'm sure, watched other videos of people talking about how to fly an FPV drone, there could be a lot of challenges with that. Also knowing your flight time, looking at your voltage, all those things. FPV, DJI drone, if you just want to start an FPV, I think is a great way to go and just kind of get into it and do some things. And yeah, if you want to get some very specific shots, maybe that's not the drone you're going to be using, but I'm going to be doing some more fun with this and have some more flying with this and get my FPV skills of flying back up with this and using my Cine whip. So these two, I'll be keeping these two just as a practice thing and a means for me to get better at that before I can go and use that on jobs and doing some of my own spec work before I'm offering that as a service to other people on FPV drone work. I would not be doing that as of yet, for sure. I'm not that good yet. So that's kind of the overview of these drones. And to go more into which ones I'm going to be keeping. So I'm definitely going to be keeping, now that I've had it fixed or they gave me a new one and I'm having no issues with it, the Mavic 3 Pro Cine. I'll be keeping this. This will be probably my main camera using for a lot of stuff, a lot of things that I'm shooting. I am going to be doing some testing with a friend who has the Mavic Pro not Cine. I'm not totally sold that the Cine is that much better. Like the ProRes is worth getting and gives that much more of an image. There is some other things on it, but there is some limitations. There's a great video done by Philip Bloom that goes really in depth into this camera, on this drone, sorry. So if you want to watch that, I'll be linking to that in the description and up here on the video as well. But that goes into some of the limitations or some of the different funny quirks with this camera, especially with the SSD on it. For the extra cost to be able to do ProRes and to do ProRes onto it and to the SSD over the Cine, over the not Cine, I'm not totally sold if it's needed, or for me, for the work I'm doing, if it's needed, and if it's making stuff really that much better. Again, if I was to get rid of everything, if I only could have one drone, I would stay with the Air 2S. The reason for that is just the video quality that I can get off this is awesome. The 60 frames per second, 4K, the 5K resolution on it, the photos on it, the size of it, how small it packs down to, how well it flies. All those things make this a great, great drone for me, and really, I use this a ton. I will be selling it because I don't really need that and this and a Mini, especially when the new Mini 3 comes out. So I will be selling this, but if I could only buy one, this would be the drone. The only thing I do not like about this drone is the aperture is a fixed aperture. It's a 2.8. You cannot adjust the aperture, so you have to be playing a lot with ND filters, and it's just kind of a pain, and sometimes I have to adjust my shutter speed mid-shot after light changes, which is changing more things that would rather not be playing with my shutter speed. I'd rather be playing with my aperture. I love that, on stuff like the Mavic 3, the Mavic 2, you can adjust your aperture. And a lot of times, I'm shooting a drone shot. I don't care if I'm at f10 or f11 or whatever, because really everything I want to shoot is going to be in focus. There's very few times where I want that shallow depth of field with a drone. More that faster f-stop would be something to help when I'm shooting low light issues, when I'm shooting at night, when I'm shooting some things that way. The reasoning for keeping the Inspire 2 for now. There's a couple of things that I love the ability to change some of the lenses on it, even though I can zoom on this, but I love the ability to be able to put like the 45 mil on there and the type of shots I can get with that. The other thing is I'm going to rent and do another video on that as well, and toying with the idea of selling my FX9 and buying the Ronin 4D camera and gimbal, and it uses the same batteries. So these batteries sell for about $150 US each. People aren't getting a lot of money for these used anymore. The Inspire 3, or sorry, the Inspire 2. So I'm probably gonna hold on just because I'm gonna have the batteries, and it might not be worth me selling it to have to go and sell it with batteries and get new batteries and what I can get for it. So I'm on the fence if I'm keeping this or not. I think that there's gonna be a Inspire 3 coming out, and I think it's gonna be very different than this. I think you're still gonna be able to control the camera, you know, independently with another controller, but I don't think it's gonna be the same look as this, and there's been some rumors coming out about that. If I have the Ronin 4D and I have that camera and stuff on it, it'll likely be the same camera that would go on this, so a much larger sensor than a Micro Four Thirds sensor. So then maybe later on would I be buying a Inspire 3? Who knows? I had the Inspire 1 before. I've had a bunch of other Phantoms before these cameras. So I'm usually kind of going through, getting the newest ones and selling the ones that I'm not using anymore. But right now I just ended up with a whole whack load of these. And there's tons of different options out there now. I mean, 5-6 years ago, depending on the level, you could either go, Inspire 2 or Inspire 1, or you could go a Phantom. And then when they start coming out with the Mavic series, and then there's different models of the Mavic series, now you have a lot more different options. So really, guys, just for this video, hopefully it gives you a bit of insight to what drone might be the best for you. And really, this is the same as cameras and other equipment. Whatever piece of equipment is the one that helps you create content, helps you do your job, and helps you make money, is actually profitable for you, that is the best piece of gear for you. There's not one best drone here. It's whatever is the one that works for you and your style of business and the way you're doing things, and whatever one is making you money. And if you have something, you buy something and it's no longer making you money, or it didn't turn out that it's needed, for me, it might almost be, for the cost of this thing, the Mavic 3, as I said, I might have been able to go with not the Cine, and majority of the stuff not really making a difference, and saving myself a few grand that way. I try not to buy things super right away. I like to test things before, but because I had the other Mavics before, I had the Mavic 2, I had the Mavic 1, and I used them a ton, I just jumped on it and said, okay, I need the Mavic 3 Cine, without looking at some of the issues around it. If I had watched some of those other videos before I bought on the first day of Philip Bloom's video talking about the SSD, the issues that way, I might not have bought it right away, or I might have maybe bought the non-Cine model. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what is your favorite drone? What drone are you using the most? What drone makes you money? Are you guys learning FPV stuff? Helping to share some resources with each other on, where do you go to learn your information about stuff? Where do you go to do your training for FPV flying? What do you think is going to be the best camera drone coming out, or what do you think is the best for your business model? Let us know in the comments below. If there's something else you'd like to see, if there's some things you'd like to see and learn about the the Mavic 3 Pro. There's too many names on the table here. Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to do a video more specific on this, and again, some testing against the Cine and the non-Cine version. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below what we would like to see, and even just in general and future videos, what you would like to see me produce and get stuff out for you guys. I love having these conversations. I love just kind of sharing knowledge and having people interact with that. So hopefully this helped you guys out in some way. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, you can give me a thumbs down. Please think of subscribing to the channel and giving that notification bell so you can know next time I've uploaded a video. And we'll see you guys on the next one.